Now, please help me welcome Garbage. Butch Vig. Duke Erickson. Shirley Manson. Steve Marker. And Eric Avery. Over 17 million albums sold, countless awards, 7 Grammy nominations, and they're right here in the lounge. Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having us. We're psyched to be here. We love Chicago.
Yes.
So, thank you to you all as well.
There actually is a tie to the beginnings of this band, specifically to the Metro here in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What happened there?
Well...
that's where we met Shirley. She was playing with her band Angelfish. They were opening for Live.
Yeah.
And Duke and Steve and I came down to watch her, and then we went out and hung out afterwards, and it was a bit of a debacle because we had a few too many cocktails.
No.
And then Shirley dropped Vic Chestnut, who was in a wheelchair. He was with us too, and she spilled him out on the sidewalk on Clark Street.
Yes. It was terrible, and it was right in front of those guys, and I was so embarrassed. And Vic, who had an amazing sense of humour, he was paraplegic actually. That's what I do. I tip poor paraplegics onto the sidewalk.
We knew then that you had attitude.
Yeah, I had some attitude, but also Vic had an amazing sense of humour, and he really milked the drama for all it was worth, and said things like help me," whilst then looking at me and grinning, you know. And I was just mortified. I was like, okay, well, I've lost that job.
But obviously you didn't.
Well, they being the twisted weirdos that they are, they kind of liked it.
They were like, she can hold her own. I like it. Yeah. Let's see how she does with somebody with all their appendages.
I guess so. I mean, bless Vic. I'm really in gratitude to him for, having a good sense of humour about it. I was really embarrassed, and actually I'm deeply ashamed about it, but I hide my shame with humour.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you, Lauren.
I know that growing up, Butch, your mother was a music teacher, and Shirley, your mother, sang for big bands. How about the rest of you? Were you in musical households growing up? What was that like? In Nebraska?
I wouldn't call it a musical household. Actually, I sang in choir, in church choir, with my father.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I know. I just remembered.
Might be some memories you're repressing.
Yeah, this is great.
Exactly.
Keep asking me questions. It's wonderful therapy.
Jog the memory. How about you, Steve? You were in New York,
Yeah,
right?
my parents were music teachers too.
Wow.
And played in marching bands and jazz bands and all sorts of fun stuff. So that was always around.
Okay. Yep.
I also didn't know that. They were both music teachers? Hi, I'm Shirley Manson.
Right? I feel like you guys would have a lot in common. You should probably hang out.
Yeah. We should
How about
jam.
you, Eric? I didn't realize you didn't mic.
This speaks of the dysfunction, though, in this band, just so you know.
Well, my father was a singer and an actor, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is amazing, and this is just another reason why we need to fight so hard to keep music in schools.
Absolutely.
Yes. Amen.
Absolutely.
Do each of you remember your first concerts?
I do. I saw back-to-back weekends Glenn Campbell at the Dane County Coliseum that was sponsored by a school, church. We had a chaperone or whatever. And then a week later, there were 2 other shows coming. I had a choice. I could go see Jimi Hendrix or Steppenwolf. I went to see Steppenwolf. I didn't know who Jimi Hendrix was. I think I was 13 years old or something. And trust me, I've kicked myself many times over. But I have to say, Steppenwolf were bad, man. They were good.
Okay.
I mean, they were badass. It was really good.
Were you ever able to see Jimi Hendrix live?
No, I wasn't. I was kind of too young, I guess.
Okay. How about you, Duke? You remember?
I think it was a very early incarnation of Fleetwood Mac.
Ooh.
In Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay.
And I don't remember. I think, well, I won't go into who all was. Only Fleetwood Mac, hardcore people would know who I'm talking about if I start reeling off the names. But it was a great concert. Christine McVie was with them, and of course,
Wow.
but I saw them in Sioux City, Iowa, and I was blown away.
I was Susie and the Banshees in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wow.
And it was amazing that I was even allowed to go, because I was never allowed to go anywhere when I was that young. But I did get to go because one of my friend's mums said that she would go with us. And she crimped all our hair before we went out. So we all had crimped hair, and it was incredible.
How old were you?
I think I was 14.
Wow.
I may have been 13. I couldn't say for sure, but... Steve?
I saw the Duke Ellington Orchestra
Wow.
in a church.
Wow.
God.
Was Duke
Top
singing
that.
backup or?
Duke was there, yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh, no. Pretty cool.
Blue Oyster Cult. actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are not supposed to have these awesome concerts as your first. It's supposed to be embarrassing, like New Kids on the Block, My Generation, or oh well,
No.
you're all badasses. You've been it since
No, we're just
moment you were
old.
born.
All those terrible boy bands weren't around when we were growing up.
All right, let's talk about the new album, which so Strange Little Birds you were working on for 2 years, writing and recording. How far deep into this new album are you?
We're so deep into it that it's now an old record, and we're working on a new record.
What?
Yeah. So we released Strange Little Birds a couple of years ago now. But we've just been doing a lot of touring. And now we're working in the studio on a new record for a 2020 release. So
Okay.
that's the plan anyway, unless something terrible happens to one of us in the interim. Well, you never know, right?
There's that.
You never know, guys. This might be our last time together. Let's enjoy ourselves
that's
today.
That's the pessimistic Scottish woman in the
Wow.
room.
That took a turn.
Welcome to the Garbage Show, everybody.
All right, so is there an album in between then that was being worked on? I thought I read about sessions in Palm Beach. Is
Oh,
that
in
something
Palm
that's
Springs, yeah. Last year, around our touring schedule, we, or was it this spring?
This spring.
Yeah, this spring,
We're
yeah.
losing it, man.
Yeah, we
was
went
last year?
twice to a house in Palm Springs and just set up our gear, our live gear, basically in a big living room. It was amazing because it looked over a golf course in the mountains and there's a swimming pool. And it was nice to not be in a studio. And basically, we would start every day and just jam, basically. We're not the best jam band. We kind of noodle around, and then somebody will grab onto a chord progression, or Shirley will get a melody or something. And eventually, 3 or 4 in the afternoon, we start drinking either margaritas or mind erasers. And then it really heats up.
nice?
But we had a good 2 weeks. We came up with about 35 jams, little music things, and about 7 or 8 of those we're sort of honing down now into songs.
Okay,
So far, anyway.
that's where you're at right now. Lyrically, is it a departure from Strange Little Birds? I know at the time you were kind of reacting to the overly poppy, happy culture, pop culture. Is this a continuation, are you feeling like, of that, or is it a departure?
It's a funny question because I just read this amazing article on the BBC about how they've done this weird survey or sort of analysis of current pop music, and it's all sad. It's all sad. All the major pop stars are making really sad, lyrically based records. Like Billie Eilish, she's a sad girl. Lana Del Rey's a sad girl. All the lyrics are about being crazy or, I don't know, like kind of dark. And there was a billion one theories as to why this is happening. But in my head, I'm thinking, right, I'm just going to write happy stuff from now on. It's time for a happy garbage record.
Wow. How is that working out?
That's not going to happen.
Not very well.
So with all of you being songwriters and being producers with the garbage music, how is that process? Is it typically always starting with a jam and everybody's kind of seeing what they come up with on the spot, or different?
There's no typical way that we do it. I mean, somebody will bring in an idea or a lyric or title or chord progression, whatever. This last batch, though, was, as Butch said, was pretty much everything we're working on right now was generated out of us improvising, just coming up with ideas and then feeding off of one another.
And drinking mind erasers.
And drinking mind erasers and margaritas.
I just think it's hilarious that you guys drink mind erasers, because I haven't heard of that drink since college, and I love that you're keeping it alive. Would you like to start us out with a song?
Yes.
Would you tell us about this song that you're about to play?
Well, it is off our 4th record, and it's the title track, Bleed Like Me. And it's a song essentially about how we all try and fuddle through life, and that we all have our weird isms and our weaknesses and our, I don't know, failings, I guess, and how sort of that communal thing is what connects us all as human beings, if we care to practice empathy, I guess. That's what it's about.
All right.
Let's
Let us
play it. This is awkward and weird. And it's strange being in a studio this dark at this time of the day when we're on tour. It's really unusual. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit nervous.
Count it out.